I like it. Let's do it.
All right, so we should have the Urel from Murky, and we should have the Zeratul from Left Coast.
Right. Hopefully they realize they need to do the same. The same things.
Or we can just have more awkwardness.
Yeah,
which is fine.
Like,
spices things up. You don't want to have this lockstep rote, experience every time you watch a stream, right? It's live TV.
Hey, it's live. Things happen. Every cast is going to be different. You
It's
never
the
know.
mistakes that add that electric crackle, that flavor.
Give the character.
Garage. I'm really surprised by that ban.
Really?
No, that's sarcasm.
Oh, okay.
too flatly delivered.
You have very.
Sorry, Swing. I baited you, I guess, with that one.
You totally did. That's cool. That's cool. I'm going to remember that.
You can get me back later in the next ban or something, or next draft.
And we are not getting any Asmodunk.
Yeah.
So sorry. I know the chat was excited about that possibility.
Sorry, chat, but you do get to see Malfurion in game 1, so.
Hey, that's just as good, right?
Some sort of compensation there.
And Deckards, we've got 2 rooting supports.
Support first picks from both teams. It's a little different, wouldn't you say?
Yeah. Yeah, it's really interesting, especially because sometimes when, this one team sees the other team pick a support, they save theirs because they feel like it's safe at that point. But it's also possible that Left Coast, they just don't want to give away the direction they want to go with their draft. And also this gives them the opportunity to kind of adjust to some of the other picks they see coming out of virtual Murky Slayers.
Yeah, and Deckard does get banned, so it wouldn't have been unheard of for that third ban to be Deckard.
Very true.
Gul'dan and Malthael from virtual Murky Slayers.
So this is telegraphing we're here for a wave clear. They want to be able to clear those waves, maybe, rotate quickly between the lanes and possibly, be a little faster than Left Coast because they've got such a great wave clear with the Malthael and the Gul'dan.
And also a bit of a scary ultimate coming out from Malthael, probably. So the team fight could be enhanced by Malthael. Kind of brings both things to the game, that wave clear, that mobility, and those last rites. Which actually might pair well with Gul'dan. He's putting out blankets of damage, and then you have that finisher.
Yeah, I find that it's really nice to have something that can finish with Gul'dan, like a Genji or a Greymane or, something along those lines. And Last Rites definitely fills that role.
Right. So final bans, Hanzo from Murky Slayers and Diablo will not be a part of this world this time around.
Great Diablo map, so it's a good ban. And then they go ahead and pick up the Johanna.
Excellent pick on this map as well.
And very.
Yeah, so you'd never know what you're going to get, what kind of variant you're going to get. So that could add a little uncertainty into the mix that Murky Slayers are going to have to deal with. Are we going to see even more control with the taunt? Are we going to see some blow up with the smash?
Right.
Final 2 picks coming out in this last rotation from virtual Murky Slayers. Anub'arak, the Cocoon perhaps, 2 stuns baked right in, and Jaina.
Huh. I'm a little nervous about not having enough front line on the side of virtual Murky Slayers. I'm interested to see how they play this. And then we've got the Kel'Thuzad picked up by Left Coast. What do you think about that, Othot?
Fantastic hero if you have the skills to make him so. So that could turn everything on its head right there. After he gets his stacks, the damage is just so great,
Yeah, they definitely have a lot of ways to hold heroes still for that Kel'Thuzad to get stacks, especially if the variant goes taunt. But the Johanna, she's got her stun.
Right.
So,
right.
Do you prefer one draft over the other?
Wow. Murky Slayers draft scares me maybe a little bit more, just because, well, we'll see what Malthael can do, especially in those team fights. Jaina is arguably underrated. She's not the flashiest mage, but she seems to be the one who gets the job done the most often.
Yeah.
So, but I think this is pretty evenly matched overall, actually.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm nervous about the front line on the side of Virtual and Murky Slayers with just having the Anub, basically.
Right.
Because I mean, Malthael I know is melee, but he's not like super tanky.
That's
typically.
right. So they could get bodied a little bit here and there. We'll have to wait and see, I guess. I'm going to switch over to the screen here. Do you want to call out the blue side?
Sure. I'd love to. Looks like we're just getting in game.
Here we are. Dropping
on the blue side for Virtual Murky Slayers, we have Fake News Nate on Jaina, Seabrisket playing Malfurion, Swagneros, which I love that name, playing the Malthael, and Ubrek will be played by a Brewer 2 and Synchrony on Gul'dan.
Over on left coast, we have Maxazillion on the variant. We have, I'm actually just going to pull up the list here. Johanna, played by Hex. Kel'Thuzad, played by Nay. Phoenix, played by Incognito. Catrixa on the Deckard, and as I said, Varian, played by Maxazillion. And we're off. Looks like a 5v5 in the middle. Don't have any soul laners immediately going to those positions quite yet. We have those potions being dropped out. And the initial stun's very aggressive opening by a Brew or two here. No roots on that initial Deckard scroll.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about Virtual Murky Slayers having incredible wave clears, so I'd like to see him just clear the wave, move on. Clear the wave, move on.
Are we going to see a 4-player rotation? Looks like we're not. We're getting a 3-player rotation out of left coast. Deckard is heading bot to help Varian out. I know it's pretty common for a 4-1 split on this map, so we're seeing kind of a variation on that theme here.
Yeah, it's really interesting. We'll see kind of what rhythm the teams settle into.
Nay getting some early stacks there, a little combo action in the middle.
Jaina was way far up in her lane. I think she's gonna make it out, but that was scary for her for a second.
Nay almost had her pulled into a combo with her own tower, but she was just out of range for those chains to connect to the building, luckily for her. And we're back in the middle with another scrum. Brew for 2 has to use their burrow to get out of danger.
Just taking a quick look at the talents here. So we do have the Echoed Corruption quest being picked up by Gul'dan. I think most everything else is relatively standard. High King's quest for Varian.
Well, Murky Slayers may have only one warrior in their front line, but that one warrior is not afraid to get things started. So far, the Anub'arak has been more than happy to initiate.
Yeah, Anub is great for just kind of coming out of nowhere and getting a stun, and he's got that great follow-up stun, so he can hold someone in place. He's got a lot of damage behind him to follow up.
Nice double root there on 2 of the members of Virtual Murky Slayers, but that's all that comes to.
In chat, we've got 2D saying, last time I watched Swing was during the playoffs, no one can host a game Inferno. Yep.
So it looks like left coast has settled into that 4-player rotation we mentioned earlier. Whereas Murky Slayers are still kind of doing some kind of a variation.
Yeah,
actually, they're working on their camps.
Getting some gems in now as well, so.
Virtual Murky Slayers picking up their bruisers. Prioritizing the Mercs a bit more than left coast.
Yeah, I really like to see that early Merc pickup. I find it does make a big difference because it could let Virtual Murky Slayers get a little bit ahead on the rotation between the lanes.
Left Coast does have a turn-in available, so let's see if the Virtual Murky Slayers can maybe get some of those coins off of them before they can turn in. There is that aggression again from Anubarak. Jaina taking quite a bit of damage in that exchange.
Yeah, she dropped a beautiful blizzard to follow up on Anubarak's stun. Kel'Thuzad was in trouble for a bit and had to back off.
It looks like Virtual Murky Slayers have an interest in helping out bot lane, whereas Left Coast is content to just sort of control the top 2/3 of the map and let their solo laner do their thing.
Yeah, and I think that traditionally, you know, the top lane is the most important lane on this map just because that's the lane that the boss will be marching down.
Right, right. No argument for me there. Nay kind of staying hidden in that vent. Going for that surprise play. Misses the chain, though. That could have been a lot worse for Synchrony.
Yeah, both teams have turn in, so it's just a matter of who can get their gems in first, and it looks like it's going to be Left Coast.
Yeah, Maxazillion had 21. Finish it off. First web weavers are going to be Left Coasts. What will they end up doing with them? How much value will they get? Looks like they're valuing bot lane a little bit, maybe? There's a little bit of a rotation down there.
Yeah, just want to clear those mercs. See if they rotate up after that.
Instead, middle is the one being prioritized here by Left Coast. It's just a smattering of bot lane pressure as Varian stays down there.
I'm glad to see them kind of moving up to the top lane now that they saw 3 defenders in mid. I think top is really where they want to push anyway, so...
Yeah, maybe they wanted to gauge, you know, where will the advantage actually be? Where's the defense going to be?
Yep.
They saw there's only 2 up here, so why don't we just go ahead and move up top? Ooh, just missing the root was Deckard Kane on Synchrony there.
Oh, we had a gank down the bottom lane.
Malthael.
For some reason, there's 3 members of Virtual Murky Slayers down there when Left Coast was pushing in hard in the top, so that was kind of interesting. But they got the gank, so now they don't have to worry about bottom lane.
And they have XP lead, even though first Spiders went to Left Coast. Virtual Murky Slayers are ahead 9-8, about half of a level there.
Oh, a noob taking so much punishment. Let's see if a Brewer 2 is able to get out.
Yeah,
It does.
anytime a Anubarak dives in like that, it's just a big target because he has no way to really get out after that. So if Left Coast can punish for some of these aggressive moves, could be quite good for them.
And now we have the blue web weavers coming down for Virtual Murky Slayer. So let's see if they're able to make things happen here.
Left Coast is in position to defend all 3 lanes. Is there going to be any kind of focus from Virtual Murky Slayers, though? They do have their ultimates coming out. Sure enough, there's Last Rites from Malthael. We have Cocoon. Twilight Dream from Malfurion as pressure continues here top lane. Ring of Frost from Jaina. Gul'dan has yet to decide on their ultimate choice. Gate is completely gone. Top lane here.
Yeah, Virtual Murky Slayer is really supporting this
Nay.
top web weaver.
Sorry, Nay was down to 83 health and then finally did die to Jaina.
Deckard is in the cocoon. Twilight Dream coming out, hits 2. Looks like Virtual Murky Slayers is gonna go ahead and back out.
Bit of a scary moment there for Left Coast, but they did get their ultimates level 10 talents during that. So we're back on level playing field in terms of ultimates at any rate. Blessed Shield from Johanna, Shadow Fisher out of
In the bottom
Kel'Thuzad.
lane, we've got a little fight going on between Malthael and Phoenix, and Malthael is going to win that 1v1.
Swagneros having a bit of a game so far, wouldn't you say?
Yeah. looking good on the Mouthy.
It's a 4v1 on Maximilian here, and he's going to go down. Nay and Hex rotate. Oh, and Hex is going to be cocooned. See how much trouble he's going to be in here. Pops the Unstoppable. Ring of Frost comes out though. Johanna is going to be stuck there. No more Iron Skin.
Beautiful Fear by Gul'dan.
Nice follow-up from Nay as well on the damage. But it's spread around the entire team, so no kills coming out of that. It's actually 4-0 on kills in favor of Virtual Murky Slayers.
Yeah, this is a great defense by Left Coast. They didn't have any deaths, which is huge, and they were able to repeat. Oh, Incognito on the Phoenix is gonna fall. Maximilian on Varian trying to get out last rites is going to finish him off as well.
There's that finisher we were talking about during the draft.
Yeah, it worked beautifully.
Looks like Virtual Murky Slayers wants to pause the game.
Okay. Remember, don't type.
Right. If we type right now, chat, this game will blow up. So we're going to stay nice and quiet here in terms of text.
1 second, mic echoing. Okay.
Okay. I guess we can finish off the ultimates here. Purification, Salvo, Stay a While and Listen, and Shield Wall.
We did see a salvo go off there. It didn't get any kills. So looking at the overall map here, we see a big advantage for Virtual Murky Slayers. They've got all of the forts down of Left Coast.
Yeah, 6-3 building lead, 6-0 on kills. Just need the Kel'Thuzad to come online, I suppose, on the side of Left Coast. Maybe they can start.
Yeah, how is Kel'Thuzad doing on stacks? We got 27, looks like. Master of the Cold Dark, 27. And once Kel'Thuzad hits 30, he'll gain 75% spell power. So that's going to be a big power spike.
Yeah, one of those comboed with, you know, some of these control abilities, Blessed Shield, Stay a While and Listen.
I think we have to actually unpause it. Hit
yes,
your
we do.
pause break.
So here we go.
Yeah. There we go. Perfect.
So let's see. We have the bottom siege camp being taken right here by Virtual Murky Slayers. Left Coast, maybe inspired by that, they start their bruiser camp.
Yeah, they're fine. They just need to soak a little, get level 13, get on the same talent here. Left Coast also has a turn in, whereas Virtual Murky Slayer still has a ways to go. So they're fine. They just need to stay calm, soak it up.
But we're going to have a little bit of a tussle right here before any of that can happen. Nubrak again goes in deep, seeing Nay. Lots of damage coming out. The Ring of Frost. And with Nay dead, that's a lot of damage no longer available. Jaina gets a kill on Phoenix.
Follow-up by Virtual Murky Slayers on the Cocoon target.
Gul'dan notching 2 kills during that. Johanna and Kel'Thuzad.
Looks like we've got Virtual Murky Slayers heading up to the boss.
There's that burrow again.
Interesting. Yeah, there's the burrow again. And
bringing
also
out those beetles.
Are pretty low. I don't know. It's possible Left Coast could get up here in time. Let's see. Doesn't look like they're heading up though.
No, they're just sort of managing their lanes right now, cleaning up the map a little bit. If you turn on your gems when the lanes are pushed too far in your opponent's favor, you're going to get a lot less value from that turn in.
That's a great point. But we also have the full team for Virtual Murky Slayers pushing in with this boss in the top lane.
with not much of a defense mounted quite yet. Here comes left coast, though.
There's a burrowing. Noob has no escape. Taunted.
Bring the frost catches too. Swagnerus is all over that Phoenix. Last rites will take Phoenix down.
Deep goes down. Still got a half health boss heading to the core of left coast.
Virtual Murky Slayers do get the first keep of the game though. Boss is on core, but it won't get through those shields before it dies. But we're looking at 16-13 in favor of Virtual Murky Slayers. That's a rather sizable mountain decline there. It's not undoable.
Definitely. And that top lane is going to have constant pressure for the rest of the game with catapults pushing toward left coast core.
Yeah, it'll be fun to see how Virtual Murky Slayers uses that to their advantage.
Well, they definitely are putting the pressure on hardcore with another turn.
That root from Seabrisket, top notch. Nay getting caught out there. Maxazillion sitting on 51 gems. They've got to be a little frustrated there. Whenever you carry that many gems, you just want to get those turned in.
I see we've got Ghost Dunk grading with a party of 15.
Ghost Dunk! Thank you. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to this Div C West match between Virtual Murky Slayers and Left Coast. We're in Game 1. Virtual Murky Slayers in blue. Pressing in on the core here. They're going to get their second keep, probably.
Got some nice damage coming out from Kel'Thuzad. Ooh, look at that. Stay a while and listen. It's 5.
Timed perfectly as a defense against that fear. Maxazillion surely would have died if it weren't for that story time.
That was beautiful. Fortunately, Johanna does fall. Let's see if Left Coast can mount a defense here. The core shields are coming down.
50%, 30, 22, and that's going to be GG for Virtual Murky Slayers taking Game 1 in this 2-game set.
Well played. Both teams played really well, but it seemed like Virtual Murky Slayers just had a little bit of a better rhythm. They got those lanes pushed out. They had so much wave clear. We kind of talked about that in the draft.
One thing they did not suffer from was that somewhat arguably anemic front line that we were talking about.
Yeah, I thought they were going to struggle with the Anubarak, and they did not struggle at all. They went up 12 kills to none. So pretty dominant.
A clean sheet. Clean sheet, one might say.
Yeah. So Left Coast played a solid match. They just need to regroup, and they definitely have a shot to pull it back in Game 2.
Yeah, I think Virtual Murky Slayers did well pressing early before that Kel'Thuzad could really come online. Such an important thing to do when you're going up against that particular mage.
Yeah, I noticed that often a noob used the cocoon on Johanna, and it seemed to be working because it basically just kind of got rid of a big frontliner for Left Coast, and they were able to get in on Kel'Thuzad, on Phoenix.
Right, I was really impressed with that Anubarak play. It looked like it could have been construed as a bit reckless, but actually it was well considered. Never really got punished for any of those burrows. They were just solid initiations.
I'm excited to see the comps that these teams bring us in the next game.
Right, so let's go ahead and build Dragonshire here. And this is Virtual Murky Slayer's pick. So one has to assume that they're going to be pretty comfortable here.
Yeah, but you never know. I mean, it could be a map that Left Coast is very comfortable with also. So we shall see.
Yeah, let's just.
This is a fun map. This is a fun map to cast. There's always a lot of action going on. So.
Right, and you get the opportunity to see some 1v1s in 2 different parts of the map, depending on how teams rotate. There's that really interesting Bermuda Triangle bit of shrubbery in the middle of the map. So how do teams manage information flow during these rotations from, say, mid to bot?
So if you're the captain of Left Coast, what are you saying to your team right now?
I'm probably saying, chin up, don't give up.
Yep.
Knowing Hex, Hex isn't one to like get on his team or anything, so I'm sure there's no negative talk at all going on in that locker room per se.
Yeah, that's one of the hardest things to do is, after dropping the first game is kind of collecting yourself and being able to go into game 2, kind of looking at it as a clean slate.
Exactly. Just reset those emotions. Every game is a new universe. You can't bring in that history. There's no room in the competitive scene really for that. You have to make every one of these games count because every game is worth 1 point. So.
Yeah, a point is a point.
So we're just populating the left coast side of this match.
So we've got a lot of fans of these teams in the chat.
Hello, everyone.
The caps violator.
My bot is very aggressive about certain things.
Your bot does not like caps.
Private Robot is sort of, a little too strict there. We have to have a conversation, maybe.
Thorberson says, well played, BMS. Indeed.
King of Kings, dope match. I am inclined to agree with that assessment. And also, thank you for the follow, King of Kings.
Thank you.
If you haven't hit that follow button, maybe you should.
Definitely. Oddthought is worth it. I'm very
so worth
interesting.
It. They love me.
And he streams a lot, by the way.
I stream so much.
NGS matches, so he'll be providing lots of fun content for you.
And head on over to twitch.tv/swingtime, please, and also give her a follow. She is one of the award-winning casters of NGS, so you definitely want to be on board with her content as well.
Thank you. I am humbled.
No, I am honored. I'm learning a lot right now as we speak. We have both teams in, so as soon as everyone's ready, we can go ahead and start game 2.
So what do you think, Chad? Who is going to take game 2? Is it going to be virtual Murky Slayers, or is it going to be Left Coast coming back to get the splits?
All right, Hex gave us the Yas Queen, so we are going to go ahead and start the draft. Welcome to Dragonshire. Kaboom, and we're here. Red team banning first this time because they did not pick this map, so they're going to get first ban, first hero pick.
I would not be surprised to see the Haka banned early, and if not, possibly picked early.
Hey,
no.
deja vu.
Hello!
Well, virtual Murky Slayers are consistent when it comes to the start of these drafts. Maybe they'll be consistent with their win rate tonight as well. Let's go ahead and go back to our camera screen here until we get this rebuilt.
We've got tons of topics.
Hey, it's more time for us, right? To be front and center. These teams are getting all the attention. It's time for us. It's our time.
Right on. How is everybody doing tonight? It's Saturday night, and you're choosing to spend some time here with us, and we really
fantastic. You're my people.
Yeah, we hope you've got like something delicious to sip on.
Like I do, I'm constantly.
Something fun and delicious.
This stream is brought to you by LaCroix. Or Thorbertson will try not to type excitedly. Okay.
Just in case you guys didn't realize. Left Coast saying that virtual Murky Slayers owes them a beer for the DCs. I think that's fair.
Sure. X likes it though, keeps us on edge, you're right. Lost Sock, giving a shout out to Left Coast.
Nice. Welcome, Lost Sock.
X says, will we play a second game? Tune in next week to find out. All right.
The drama.
A brewer 2 has returned. And let's see. Virtual Murky Slayers are ready. Let's see if Left Coast is ready. And then we can get this train rolling. Okay, perfect. So, take 2.
Right.
Red team bans first. As I said before, that will be Left Coast. Everybody seems to be in. Are we going to see any respect bans swing?
I kind of wouldn't be surprised to see them ban out that noob, but that noob was pretty terrible.
Really
but then
did.
again, I mean, this isn't a map you would really see a noob too much, so they may, not be too concerned about it here, but we'll see.
Yeah, a noob is a pretty good all-arounder, though. You can never say no to all those stuns.
Yeah, definitely. And wow, Left Coast does not want to deal with the Zeratul tonight.
2 games in a row with the Zeratul ban. Interesting. We're going to see an echo from game 1 with a URL ban. Or are we going to start seeing these global heroes starting to get picked off here? Like you said Dahaka, right? I seem to remember you brought that up.
I wouldn't be surprised to see Dahaka banned.
Yep, URL. There's too much wackiness out of that hero. I suppose for Virtual Murky Slayer's taste. They probably aren't fans of wackiness given that they slay Murkies. So that seems fairly consistent.
I'm laughing because Thorbertson in chat is saying, BMS gotta unplug that potato and plug it back in again. It happens.
Ooh, Blaze. So, trying to shape perhaps that top lane situation a little bit.
Yeah. Oh, and no Asmodan again.
Bye-bye reworked Asmodan. Not today.
That leaves Dahaka up for grabs. Garrosh is still available.
Yeah, you have the Falstads of the world, the Brightwings.
And there's the
Zagaras.
I just really love Dahaka on this map. I think he's really strong with his global.
Plenty of
that's a great.
Plenty of bushes to run through and get speed from if you go that route, or just, for popping up in unexpected places. We have the Gul'dan Malfurion combo, which is slightly familiar from game 1.
Yeah, it looks like those are heroes that they may be comfort picks for Virtual Murky Slayers.
Yeah, quality fears coming out from Gul'dan. Really nice route there in that near the end of the game from Malfurion that I'm remembering. Muradin and Greymane on the side of Left Coast. Greymane.
All right. Yeah.
Excellent flexibility there in your damage style. You can just poke it out for a while, jump in there in dog form, finish things off.
Yeah, he's great at getting camps. He's good. He can even solo lane if he needs to. Very versatile.
Nice early-ish pick for any team, really. Stukov, bye-bye. No icky circles of silence in this game.
I would ban Garrosh with them showing the Malfurion. I would ban Garrosh.
Yeah, that can be nasty. The toss into the root.
Yeah.
The famous combo. Raynor, still very high win rate hero. Very rarely is that going to be a poor ban. Next rotation.
He's still strong.
What are we going to see for warriors out of
I think
Murky
they're gonna pick
Slayers.
Garrosh.
It's
really
there.
do.
It's there for the taking.
I mean, they could do a Johanna, I guess.
Sonya Nazebo instead.
They're saving it. They're gonna keep us in suspense a little bit longer.
This realm needs me.
Nazebo, you might be thinking about maybe a little bit of a longer game. Sort of a Kel'Thuzad situation, maybe in that respect. Li Ming and Rhaegar. So no Garrosh unless we get a last pick. Garrosh.
Yeah, I mean, they have to have a tank here, so they could go the Anub again, I guess, but I'd rather see a Garrosh or a Johanna for blinds on Greymane. I'm thinking it needs to be one of those two.
I see you shiver in anticipation.
Oh,
It is
wow.
the ETC, so maybe a stage
Nice
dive.
quote.
Maybe.
Nice quote for the Rocky Horror. By the way.
Oh, Rocky. So yeah, I'm thinking stage dive. Get that extra little surprise
I'm
global in there.
Excited. I've been missing ETC. ETC is not getting played very much at all anymore, so I'm happy to see the cow.
And again, like in game one, neither of these drafts really stand out from the other to me in terms of, oh, you know, this is overwhelmingly better or whatever. They're both rather solid.
Yeah, I like them both.
I wonder if Left Coast is going to be able to aggress in the same way that Murky Slayers did in game one, to try to end this game before Nazebo just takes over.
Yeah, I mean, you can do that with the Muradin. You know, Muradin can leap in. I mean, I know that, you know, it's a little scary sometimes if he has no escape, but if you do it at the right time, it's okay. Get a stun out. So we'll see, but let's introduce our team. So for the blue team, this is going to be virtual Murky Slayers. We've got Fake News Nate on Sonya, Seabrisket on the Malfurion, Swagneros is playing the ETC, Nazebo played by a Brew or two, and Synchrony on Gul'dan.
And on the side of Left Coast, Dahaka is going to be run by Hex337, Muradin played by Nay. Li Ming by Catrixa, Incognito is going to be playing that Greymane, and Rhaegar played by Maxazillion. Let's get it started.
The chat was calling for a Cho'Gall pick during the draft.
Okay, chat. Cho Brawl, not today. As we get started here. 5v4, Dahaka is going right to the top, right at the start of the match. Incognito is going to head to bottom lane with the Greymane.
Yeah, Greymane is really far up in that lane.
Let's take a peek here. Interesting. Probably thinking of, yeah, escaping backwards like we just saw there.
Yeah.
Still interesting positioning. Swagner is chasing Nay through the bushes there a little bit.
It's going to be the Sonya up against the Dahaka in the top lane, although Sonya's rotating down. They may be looking for a gank.
Left Coast staying safe, staying alive. Not falling for it. Although...
Brewer 2 in danger here, and Nazebo's going to go down.
Yeah, first blood for Left Coast. A little bit of
This is great timing. I mean, they could get set up to activate the spawn on Shrine, kind of get position on point.
Look at this ETC in trouble here. The Root helping out, saving his life there. Rhaegar doing a great job here. Maxazillion taking the siege camp.
Yeah, that's going to be really helpful for Left Coast to retain control of that bottom lane so they can stay in control of that Shrine.
That is one thing I love about playing Rhaegar myself, is that it gives your team that little extra bit of flexibility in terms of taking mercs early. Rhaegar can do that, freeing up your assassins and warriors to do other things. So we saw a little taste of that there.
Got virtual Murky Slayers picking up their siege camp now as well.
Greymane rooted. That was a dangerous little moment there for Incognito. We have a full-on fight going on here, bot. Maxazillion chasing Gul'dan.
Yeah, the team was a little split there for Virtual Murky Slayers, but everybody is able to back out, no deaths.
Virtual Murky Slayers did pick up their Mercs, so they're going to have a little extra pressure down here in this bot lane as we fight over the shrine. Zombie wall comes out, causes a little bit of problem. Swagnerus sliding in. No follow-up, though. Healing Totem dropped and left mostly alone. So got some pretty decent value out of that.
Yeah, up in the top lane, we just have Sonya and Dehaka kind of just trading the shrine back and forth.
Currently under control by Virtual Murky Slayers, I see. But Left Coast is retaining control of the bottom shrine for now.
Yeah, Left Coast aggressively holding on to that shrine.
Spider's chipping away at Greymane.
May is stunned.
Low, but Maxazillion keeping Nate alive there.
Yeah, we've got the trio for Virtual Murky Slayers just out-sustaining Left Coast in the bottom lane. I mean, their health bars are staying really high, where it's kind of whittling Left Coast down a bit. This Greymane's so low.
Oh, that
TTC
slide.
sees it too. Yep.
Excellent play from Swagnerus there. Incognito's
great
going to
heads
be
up.
out of the game for 15 seconds. A has to jump away. Left Coast did have the opportunity to take the dragon, however, briefly. I take a peek at top lane real quick as Hex and Fake News Nate duke it out up here.
It looks like Li Ming's going orb build.
Any other talents standing out to you? Any unusual picks? Looks like we have a similar build from Gul'dan as last game. Nay with a forward move here on Seabrisket. Only Maxazillion there to potentially follow up though. And we have bottom camp being taken here. All Left
we got a
Coast.
gank coming out.
Left
Dan
Coast
going
gets the
down.
kill and the dragon here. Excellent
Yeah.
move. Good timing on that
So-
Merc camp though from Virtual Murky Slayers, probably knowing that they were going to lose the middle.
Yeah, they basically traded the dragon to get that camp because then they didn't have enough of a force to keep Left Coast from picking up that dragon in the middle.
Maxazillion aggressed with a little doggy leap. Almost got punished hard by Swagnerus there.
Oh, Maximilian in trouble.
The zombie wall.
Gonna make it
Quality
out.
zombie wall. Maxazillion did drop that healing totem though. It gave him just enough life to squeak out of there in dog form.
I really like what I'm seeing, how Left Coast has continued to make sure that they got the soak in all the lanes, even while they had the dragon. And you
Right,
can
right.
see there's getting a bit of an experience lead. It looks like they will likely hit level 10 first. So they didn't get a ton done with that dragon, but it's an early dragon, so that's pretty expected.
Yeah, and it did help them ever so slightly in that important race to 10, which Left Coast has won. It's 10-9 in their favor. So we're going to see some ultimates coming out as they both work on these siege camps.
Oprah Wind Fury in cast is digging the ETC skin. That is a cool one.
And relatively new.
I just like the music it plays.
Oh yeah, for sure. So we're seeing a different ultimate out of Malfurion this time. We have the Tranquility coming out.
Okay.
They're seeing the need for additional healing, I guess, more so than that silence.
Yeah, it feels like, and I know you're a support main, so you can speak on this more than I can, but it seems like the Malfurion heroic is kind of going back and forth between those two now. It's not like for sure one or the other anymore.
Yeah, I find myself taking Tranquility quite a lot, which
Yeah.
was not true until fairly recently.
We did lose Greymane.
Yeah, nice pickup for Virtual Murky Slayers there.
The Hawker was moving in pretty hard on that Front wall up top, but is gonna get out. Yay, pushes. Get some speed boost going on.
Yeah, nice little initiative up there, but it looks like Virtual Murky Slayers handled it fairly well. No long-term damage done. And emphasis is now shifting back to the lower third of the map.
Just beautiful zombie walls coming out from a brew or two on that gazebo.
Yeah, zombie wall into Malfurion route can be quite annoying.
Yep, and then he likes to drop the Gargantuan in that zombie wall with the player that he's trapped. So it's like, hi, you're trapped and you got a huge monster on your face.
Get a little closer with every Dexter try. This stream is brought to you by. And now, Virtual Murky Slayers have an opportunity here to grab the Dragon Knight. Left Coast trying to regain bottom shrine control, but it looks like it's not going to be in time. Gul'dan is going to pilot that dragon. Hex pops up right away to start defending it, while the fighting continues bot.
Yeah, I think Hex was trying to get there maybe in time to interrupt it, but unfortunately,
Greymane's
a little late.
Greymane's in trouble, but did manage to squeak away there. And they're going to go ahead and opt to defend finally en masse. Incognito jumping in on Fake News Nate. This fort will go down.
Yeah, the Dragon Knight's getting pretty low in health as well. So that's... Oh,
Mosh pit.
Got a 3-man mosh.
No stage dive today.
Maximilian. Oh, the Dragon Knight just saved Maximilian's life by kicking Rhaegar away.
An ill-timed
Thank you,
kick.
he says.
Yeah. The button's there, sometimes you just have to push it.
Meanwhile, take a look at Nazebo in the bottom lane. Taking the bottom fort.
Nice work by a brew or two getting that value, split push value.
Virtual Murky Slayer's also invading the siege camp.
14-13 in terms of levels, so we aren't quite in that situation that we saw last game. Still relatively close.
Yeah, this is a really even game.
Whatever it was
like to see
that
West Coast maybe grab that bottom camp.
it looks like they are on board with that idea.
All right.
And Virtual Murky Slayers do not seem to have an inclination that they're down there. So Agnaros is scoping things out. Where are they?
Yeah. Uh-oh. Okay, we
they're
have a
wondering.
collapse coming out of Virtual Murky Slayers.
Too late in terms of the camp, though. That's already taken.
Yep.
Another zombie wall capturing Hex with the slide. Nay is super low, gets a cleanse.
Cleanse.
Sonya.
Murden is going to also get the Ancestral. Oh, poor Incognito is running for his life, I'm dreaming.
Yeah, unfortunately for Left Coast, they got divided into two different skirmishes there.
Yeah.
And Incognito paid the price.
Maximilian taking so much damage from Sonya.
Hex low. Uses this stunned, pushed back, and destroyed. Hex is going to take a little breather for 30 seconds.
That was a really nice play by Swagneros on ETC, power sliding and knocking the Dahaka away from safety so his team could finish up with the kill.
Yes, and Swagneros also going down and grabbing that bottom shrine.
And look at this. Virtual Murky Slayers just sitting there waiting for that next dragon. They will pick it up.
Opportunity for them to expand on this now 16-14 lead.
Yeah, now keeps are definitely in danger. Looks like they're going to head toward the bottom.
They having to leap away, resetting this team's shape.
Left Coast is trying to poke away at this dragon, trying to stay safe. They definitely do not want to have anybody picked off.
The kick on Hex, sending him to mid as the dragon focuses on bot keep.
Raymond going in on Sonya. Oh,
Somehow fake news Nate stays alive through all that.
unbelievable.
The Malfurion ultimate doing work there.
Oh, we may have a kill coming the other direction. No, a Brewer 2 also barely stays alive.
A Brewer 2 survives. Nay does not. Nazebo getting...
Now, Virtual Murky Slayers, they really could push this middle keep. It's a 5v3.
Their healer is low on mana though, so I wonder how long they're going to want to press this.
Looks like you
Not
were
very
exactly
long.
right. We're just going to get the keep and
Yeah.
see you later.
But hey, instead of just running all the way home, we can take this camp. Some forward thinking there from Virtual Murky Slayers. Looks like Hex wants his team to go ahead and get these bruiser camps under control. Nazebo's going to do likewise for Virtual Murky Slayers.
So we've got a 19 to 16 difference for the levels. What do you think Left Coast should be thinking here?
Well, at this point, you're going to look for that pick. Hero kills are really valuable when you're down levels, but may not be likely, so your second option is probably just, you know, play for that 20. It's kind of punishing when you go down this far. Your options are severely limited.
Yeah, do you think that they just need to all 5 stick together from this point on?
Well, given how far the lanes are pushed out, it seems like that's going to be what they're going to have to do.
Yeah.
But they're going to go ahead and just let top fort die. Again, they don't have the option to contest these things, because then you just end up feeding, right?
Yeah, exactly. So they're going to do what they can, and they're going to take out the bottom fort. I mean, I'm
This
glad
is
to
great.
see them. Yeah.
Yeah, they saw that the entire team was top lane. That gave them a window of opportunity to cash in this XP. Buildings are essentially just blobs of XP, so...
Murky Slayers, though.
Right.
Yeah, you're 100% right. Yep.
But this is the risk they took, because now they're going to be deep in a lane.
I see a Mosh coming out, and it does not hit anyone.
Ultimate
Successful
out of
going out on
cooldown.
Dreaming.
Incognito super low.
Maximilian, Incognito, full splitting off. They're terribly low in health.
And Li Ming is going to die to Malfurion. Hex running for his life.
This could
Hex
be
surrounded
game.
by Murky Slayers.
Nice job by Incognito on Greymane, going in and getting the kill on Malfurion.
Yeah, nice little bit of burst there. Nice example of what you can do with that
And
hero
I
for
actually
sure.
think that just saved the game for Left Coast.
I think you're right. If they didn't get that kill, you'd be seeing a lot more aggression right here.
Yeah, so well done. Getting that counter kill is just enough to slow Virtual Murky Slayers down just a bit and give them a chance to still claw their way back into this game.
But pretty much another immediate Dragon Knight coming out for Virtual Murky Slayers. The pressure continues. They're not letting up. And it's still 20 to 18. Left Coast desperately needs to get that level parity, that talent tier parity.
Yep, here comes a fight for the game, basically.
Nate just barely escaping.
Punished.
Incognito on the run. They seem to be getting a ton of value out of the Sonya. And how many times has Sonya been near death and didn't die? That might be the
It's
story of the
true.
game, really.
EPC getting low. The core shields are falling.
80%.
Very healthy Dragon Knight.
Left Coast needs a kill here, or it's going to be all over. 30%. Looks like it's that's it with the Dragon Knight on the core, of
I
course.
think so. Yep. GG's. This one's going over to Virtual Murky Slayers.
And that'll be 2-0 on the night for the team in blue, Virtual Murky Slayers. Well played,
Yeah.
well played.
Looking at the in-game stats for a second here, look at the hero damage from Sonya. Now, I don't remember her. Was she wasn't getting in the Dragon Knight, right? Is that a real hero damage number? Because that's pretty
I
crazy.
think so. I think you're right there. Yeah, great game this one. And also by Malfurion keeping that Sonya alive when she was low repeatedly. Left Coast put a lot of focus into finishing Sonya off and just never could quite manage to do it. 0 deaths out of Sonya.
Left Coast definitely played a solid game, though, I have to say.
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
It's hard when you start to fall behind. It makes it very difficult sometimes to kind of keep up. And once you start falling behind, it can snowball a little bit.
Yes. Great early game for them, second game. They obviously didn't, collapse in on themselves during that halftime talk that you mentioned.
Right. Yeah, I think they can definitely be proud of how they played tonight, and I'm sure that they'll watch the games back and learn some things, and they'll come out even stronger for their next match.
Yeah, already there's an upward swing for them. They did get 4 kills in that second game when they had 0 in the first. So, yeah, I wonder if throughout the season they'll continue to congeal and grow stronger. And Virtual Murky Slayer's looking really good to start off this season 5.
Oprah Winfrey saying swag is a her, FYI casters. I typically call, I use he or she based on the character. So
That's what I was trying to do.
Male, that's why I was saying ETC was a he, just to clarify.
Yeah, thanks for that clarification there, Swing. That's my approach too, generally. Or
unless I know the person, like, I've talked to them and I know they're male or female, I try not to assume.
Yep. I'm a big fan of the pronoun they as well, so you'll hear all of that stuff on my broadcasts. Yeah.
Were we going to maybe try to do an interview with one of the captains, or?
Yeah, I guess we could. What's your method for grabbing?
Usually I try to interview the winner of game 2. And in this case, we had the same winner for both games, so.
Right.
Yeah, usually I just whisper the captain and I'm like, hey, would you guys like to do an interview?
See if we can get that set up.
It means we'll have to switch channels on Discord and get into a channel where the captain can join as well. So usually I just jump up into one of those lobby channels. Meanwhile, in the chat, Hex saying we got owned. You didn't get owned. I think when you watch it back, you're going to see a lot of good things and things you can learn from. I mean, that's what happens to me. I always feel like my team played horrible when we lose, but then usually when we watch it back, we're like, actually, we played pretty well. There were just like these couple things that we can work on.
Yeah, tough losses, but I wouldn't say that you got owned per se. It's more about, well, I mean, we went 0-2 in our first round, our first games, so we learned a lot from those, though. So it's, if you're going to lose early so you can learn from it, retool, and, get stronger and stronger during the season. And also the playoffs, you can get into the playoffs even if you have kind of a rough season overall. So it's you always want to maintain that hope no matter what happens.
Big change this season for NGS. Looks like Nate's up in lobby 1.
Yeah, let's go ahead and hop in there, shall we?
Set up.
Sweet. Hey, Nate.
Hey, how's it going?
Also known as Fake News Nate in game, just to tie that in for our chat. But thanks for joining us for this quick interview. We won't make it last, forever or anything. So,
come on! I wanted to be here forever.
BFF.
Thank you.
Yeah, 2-0 on the night, and you're coming off of a series just before this too. It's kind of a doubleheader for you, right?
Yeah, this was our first 2 matches in NGS, and first one we went 1-1, and this one we got 2. Pretty good.
Wow, awesome. So 3-1 on the night. You must be feeling good.
Yeah, definitely.
So
that's the way to start.
Yeah, for sure. Jealous. So anything that stood out to you in game 1 that you might want to talk about?
Well,
How did you feel during game one?
Leading up to game one was a little hectic because our one person had technical difficulties, and we normally have 6, but one person's traveling, so we had to find a sub, and so the drafting was a bit interesting. So we ended up going double mage, which is not usually very good, but they had Johanna and Varian, who both are quite good against auto attackers. So it seemed like picking a more balanced damage dealer to have an auto attacker too is maybe not so important.
Right, and one thing that's really standing out for me is the Anubarak play in game one. I wonder if you had any comments on that.
So Anub is not always played as a main tank, but it's always felt really good when Focus plays it. He's very aggressive, and oftentimes, even though there's a lower health pool, we can isolate someone more quickly, so he doesn't.
Yeah, I was really nervous for you guys when I saw that it was a solo tank noob. I was very concerned, but it ended up working out.
Yeah, definitely. They had a fair amount of spell damage too, which Anub is good against. So.
Right.
Yeah, fantastic Malfurion play tonight as well. Did you have any thoughts about what you saw out of Seabrisket tonight?
Yeah, it was great mouth play by him. We really like, it worked really well playing him on mouth tonight. And yeah, he likes to heal, and it seems to work out pretty well. His roots are great, so.
Swing, did you have any questions in mind?
So for game one, that was actually Left Coast map pick. Is that a map you guys are? I mean, you seemed really comfortable on it. Is that a favorite map of yours?
I think Tomb is fine. Yeah, I'd say that we don't have too strong a map preference in general. I don't know. Also, Synchrony was our sub, who I mean, he's a friend of a couple guys on the team, and we played with him before, but like, he only plays quick match. And so I knew that his Gul'dan is pretty good, and it's pretty good on Tomb. It wasn't like a strategic thing, but to like get that stuff, that's the only person we could find. But regardless, it was nice to be able to pick Gul'dan for him.
Yeah, definitely. Now, after you were able to get the win on Spider Queen, what was your thought process going into game two? Did you kind of want to stick to a similar game plan, or did you have a whole different plan set up specifically for Dragonshire?
Well, I don't know. I think we're fairly good at macro in general. So I think Dragonshire plays to that strength. Focus and I sort of co-call some of the time, and so I was in the solo in that game, and he's it's sort of almost a meme in our team that he's always talking about taking camps. So I think that we did that fairly well in Dragonshire. So that's one of the reasons I wanted to play it.
Yeah, it seemed like you guys had a lot of map pressure constantly from Merc camps.
Yeah. So they ban Zeratul every game because that's my strongest hero. But
we were wondering. We were like, what's with the Zeratul bans?
Yeah, so it's my most played hero, and if people snipe the hot slugs, they might see it. So.
Oh, okay.
But anyway, Sonya just wins top against Dahaka too, so we had a lot of pressure.
You mean the Sonya that wouldn't die?
Yeah.
She was so low so often.
Yeah, so Mouth God. I'll just say Mouth God on that one.
Hashtag Mouth God.
Yeah.
Another draft question, I guess. We were both wondering if there would have been a last pick Garrosh in that second draft. It was just sort of hanging there. Was there any possibility of that happening?
Well, our last person that we were looking, Swagner asked for her pick, and she hasn't played too much of the new Garrosh, so she likes ETC more. So that was more why we went for that. Also, I don't know, that draft was really working towards the late game.
Yeah.
Right, we have Gul'dan stacking, Zebo stacking, and Sonya is just a good late game hero.
Right.
So, yeah, I don't know. Garrosh is quite good at engaging and having early picks, but not necessarily what you want draft like.
Yeah, it seemed like perhaps one reason why game one went so well for you is that you played so aggressively that you could kind of circumvent that or prevent the late game Kel'Thuzad, that sort of late game comp. But then it seemed like in game two you went for more of the late game comp. So I wonder if that came up at all, or if you were...
I think. Well, our first draft was just pretty YOLO, to be honest. Like, we were very squishy and had a lot of damage. So we had a lot of ability to capitalize, but the fights were going to be pretty sketchy. Hopefully we could kill enough of them before we all died. So the Counter side was Anoop had good engages. Focus had good engages on the KTC, so that helped a lot.
For sure. Well,
True.
Thank you so much for joining us and spending some time interviewing. Before we let you go, do you have any shout outs?
Shout out to the game. That was really fun. And yeah, it's cool that that NGS is a thing. I didn't know about it until this last season, so I'm stoked to play.
Well, welcome to NGS.
Thanks.
Yeah, and thanks again for having this little interview with us.
Yeah.
Much appreciated. And congratulations again on your, well, I guess 3-1 evening.
Yeah, thank you.
Welcome to the league.
Definitely. Good luck in your future matches, except against our team.
Right.
What team are you guys on?
Clouded Minds.
Clouded Minds, and that's in my division.
Yeah,
in order.
Div C West. We're neighbors.
All right.
Yeah.
Good luck with the play.
All right.
Man, you guys are milking some strats. Though. That's kind of, I don't know, man. Like,
hey, to be fair, anybody can rewatch this VOD.
Well, not yet. It's not uploaded, right?
Oh,
Well,
it will be
tonight.
very soon.
Okay. Got you.
So not to worry. It's all public information. So, but anyway, yeah, congrats again, and thanks again for the interview, and good luck moving forward.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay, well, we did it.
Swing, we did it. We added some live TV fun in there. So, a couple of DCs kept us on our toes. But overall, I think it was a pretty good experience for me anyway.
Yeah, it was kind of nice. We had time to, talk to the people in Twitch chat, and it was okay.
Right, and I've been looking forward to casting with you for quite a while now, so I'm glad that finally came to pass. Thanks for volunteering to sit in tonight.
I'm happy to be here. I had a wonderful time, and I hope we can do this again.
Yeah, me too. I think we will. If I have anything to say about it. And thank you to chat for hanging out with us on your Saturday evening, as Swing mentioned earlier. Did you have any shout outs you wanted to give real quick before we...
Well, shout out to Odd Thought. Definitely throw him a follow. And you're also on Twitter, right? Is it at Odd Thought, but it starts with a 0, right?
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And you guys can find me at Swingtime Gaming on Twitter and at twitch.tv/swingtime here on Twitch.
Excuse me. I'd also like to just give some quick shout outs to Lost Sock for the follow, King of Kings as well for that. Ghost Dunk, thank you for the raid. Hex and Nay for the donations, and Professor Bobo for the follow. Thank you so much for all of that. And you'll see on my outro screen here when my next broadcasts will be coming up. I do a lot of co-casting with Broiled Beef, so you'll see that name pop up. And I think if there's nothing else to say, we can go ahead and say good night.
Yeah, thanks so much, everybody. See you next time.
Thank you. Bye-bye.